Hey guys! You may have noticed I'm doing this crazy new content strategy called actually posting content, specifically shorts that aren't just fam cams of my dog Wendy, who you can probably hear snacking in the background. And it's actually in part related to what my long form content actually is, namely me doing art and having opinions. Who'd have guessed? Although, I wouldn't blame you if you haven't noticed. Especially because YouTube has straight up blocked and banned some of them, just for fun. Hi, I'm Kit, and today I'm gonna rant about YouTube and TikTok and my conspiracy theory that they're shoving their dirty little mitts in my analytics and messing it all up. So without further ado, grab yourself something to drink, something to do, and let's get started on this video. Okay, maybe saying that I'm being blocked and banned and censored is a little bit hot, but it is in my nature to get hot-blooded. I mean, what do you expect? I have Rant in my name and my hair is red naturally. But I am getting ahead of myself. Y'all probably want some context. So, hi, if you haven't seen me before, I'm Kit Rant. I like art and I love to rant. I'm a certified yapper, despite what most people IRL think. Why did you lick me? I'll rant about anything and everything, from art and how to improve it and what's my style and my stories, to my opinion on warm button issues like whatever content creators in the news cycle or state of modern indie horror, fun little things like that. I took a break back in November because I was working retail and Black Friday was coming up and there was a lot. And then I accidentally got busy with life and just didn't upload for several more months, minus the couple fan cams I did of Wendy, because how could I not? She's adorable. But that is in the past. It is spring now. The seasonal depression's gone, so I am back, in theory, at least for this video and a couple more shorts. So naturally, when I was planning on how I'm going to make my entrance, I was like, there's no better way to hype up the channel for long form videos than to post a couple shorts here and there. Plus, it lets me work on a couple short things that I've wanted to do, but I haven't had the excuse to, or I haven't had the reason to do it. So in this case, it is redrawing different pieces, either from the manga or the anime of one piece, but doing it in my style and then just yapping about whatever. It's nice to draw the characters that I like while focusing on my stylistic differences, because for the longest time I struggled a lot with that my art didn't look like other artists, so when I would try to draw their characters, it didn't look right because intrinsically the styles were different, even if I was drawing these same features just my own way. And although I love drawing my own characters with my stylistic choices, you kind of don't improve in the same way because you're just drawing this eye. It's not, this is this eye translated into my style, that type of thing. So it's both a study and a focusing while expanding my visual range, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. If you know, you know. And I've been cross-posting them on both TikTok and YouTube, and it's been great. They perform pretty well, especially Ace, considering I kind of posted the same footage twice on TikTok. I'll get right into that in just a little bit. But there's been really nice people on both platforms. They tell me that they love my style, which is everything because, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I tend to think my art style is really weird. It's a mix of anime and cartoons, but not the parts you would think. And it's been real nice being able to see other people's opinions on things that I've talked about in the shorts, such as Sanji is cool, you're so based and right for thinking that, Kit. And yeah, YouTube shorts could be improved upon, but yeah, they're probably not going to. And yeah, One Piece spoilers, they're not make or break, so go ahead and just watch the show or whatever. Now, overall, they did perform a lot better on TikTok versus YouTube, but that is to be expected. People tend to like things a lot easier on TikTok than YouTube. I don't know why, that's just how it is, I've noticed. Now, that being said, if you like my videos, I would appreciate a like. I know we're on YouTube, and that's the one that doesn't do the likes, but I like it. And if you like me, I'd like to know so then I can feel happy on the inside, and I'd smile. But you know what I didn't expect was to be low-key shadow banned and repressed on both. Now on YouTube it has been more obvious, but I did also know a downtick in TikTok, despite the videos before, and even those videos themselves, performing pretty well metric-wise. At least if I'm to believe what the little AI bot tells me, which I don't know why I wouldn't. So first off, YouTube. Actually, I got banned. Not my channel, but 2 of the videos got a worldwide block due to using copyrighted music that I had originally found on TikTok and used on TikTok and had no issue. So all of the videos were already posted on TikTok, and then 2 out of the 3 videos completely just got blocked on YouTube. So I was like, okay, I guess I have to add voiceover. So you might be asking, well, why'd you post the voiceover to TikTok instead of just doing that on YouTube? Glad you asked. I wanted to, they wouldn't let me. Since Ace was my first speed draw, especially for short form content, he was a little bit on the longer side, which is why I had to divide it up to line art, coloring, and shading, because it was way past the 3-minute mark. It was closer to about 5.5 minutes in total length, which on TikTok is fine. TikTok lets you load up to 10 minutes. YouTube allows you to load up to 3 minutes. However, because the original line art was over 1 minute in length, I wasn't able to put new music that YouTube approved of, or even put a voice over it in the editing software on my phone. And I really didn't want to have to edit my things on the computer and then resend them to my phone, so I just did it on TikTok again. You know, if I annoy the TikTok audience, it's fine, because they're on TikTok. They're already probably annoyed by something or other. And you know what? To my surprise, it was fine on both platforms. YouTube no longer had a block on it because I got rid of the music, and on TikTok, it performed about the same as the original. But I did get a lot more engaging comments, because before they were just like, oh, I love this art, or like, oh my gosh, Ace, he's bae. But now people were like, oh, that's your opinion? Let me give you my opinion, which I love. Give me your opinions down in the comments. I actually ended up having a couple discussions with a couple people in one of the comment sections, and I loved it. It was chaotic, it was very early internet, but I thought it was fun. Now, over the posting of the 3 videos on YouTube, each video seemed to get less views, not by a whole bunch, but enough that it was noticeable. Meanwhile, on TikTok, with each one, it seemed to get more views. And I bring this up because of the next short I posted. So once I finished drawing Ace, I wanted to draw another boy I love, someone with strong dog energy, someone who I am happy when they are on the screen, someone who is eager to please, strong, goofy. It was Sanji. Of course it was Sanji. Who else would it be? I am dressed as him. He is in the thumbnail. Who would it be other than Sanji? I love him. I love him. And I had already posted a speed sketch of him on both platforms, and you know, it did good on both. So I posted the line art of Sanji on YouTube, and it flopped. You know, no, it didn't flop, because that would imply that there was some form of taking off to have flopped from. No, it never took off. It had 0 views. You know, sometimes that happens. 7 hours later, 0 views. 16 hours later, 0 views. And now, these aren't the engaged views, the ones where people sit through. This is, if anyone was on the video for even 1 second, that would have been a view. And there was 0, meaning I wasn't getting an algorithm for some reason. But you know, these things happen. So I was like, you know, maybe I just posted it at a bad time. Maybe the title isn't good. So I reposted it at like 1 p.m. Nope, 0. So I was like, well, maybe it's because it's detecting that there's the same video. So I deleted both videos and reposted it. Nope, 0. So now I've had videos do bad before. That's not new to me. But this is a video that is the exact same type of content I was already posting. It had, you know, similar audio, but different. And it was so weird. I checked the video to see if there's any warnings or strikes. Nope. Checked email, see if YouTube was giving me a heads up or something. Nope. I even contacted YouTube support on Twitter, and they basically just called me crazy. I don't think it was blocked due to, like, things I said, because I don't cuss in it. I do say perv or pervert, but I said that in all the parts, so you'll see why that matters later, because that couldn't have mattered. There is, in my opinion, no reason it should be doing literally 0 views bad. Now, I've had failures, I've had flops. It is part of the social media game. But when you seemingly get slapped so hard out of nowhere for no reason, it's hard not to feel bitter. It is very hard to not feel the slightest bit bitter. I tried contacting YouTube on Twitter to see what may be happening. You know, maybe there was an algorithmic change that I just somehow missed. And they got back to me, actually. They basically told me, maybe your video just sucks, and maybe you suck, like, marketing? And when I said, maybe, but I don't think that's it, and I tried to explain that there's 0 views, meaning it is not hitting the algorithm at all, not for my subscribers, it's not ending up on the FYP, it's just seemingly sitting, how would your viewers or other people know they don't like it if they don't watch it? And they just said, sucks to suck. Try being better. Thanks, YouTube. So I hit a bit of a crossroads. I actually made a post on YouTube about this if you saw that. It's still up technically. You can still see it if you want for some reason. So now my best guess on what has happened was I had posted too many shorts that did okay in the algorithm too close together, and my channel potentially could have been flagged for bot behavior due to the frequent posting and the high views they naturally got, especially after the period of inactivity on my channel. Now, from what I found, there's nothing you can really do about this other than wait it out, just deal with the fact that despite not doing anything different, you're slapped and there's really nothing you can do. So here's my question. Do I post to a potential audience of 0 for who knows how long in the hopes that these videos will somehow get back into algorithm once I'm cleared, however long that takes? Or do I wait, potentially lose any potential traction I could have? Because like I said, I don't know if that's the reason why the video didn't get shown to anyone. It's just an assumption because that's the only thing I can explain it with. And then try to ensure that I post them a little bit more separate when they do come back. Both options suck because there's not a definite answer of why anything happened, so I can't come up with a good solution. But, I really liked the Sanji video. I like how the drawing was. I liked the story. I like talking about One Piece hear me outs and why it's totally a good hear me out to say Arlong, but it's a horrible hear me out to say crocodile. I don't care about the evilness. I'm talking about pretty faces, and crocodile, he's kissable. What can I say? That's what the fandom says. So I decided, screw it, I'm gonna post all 3 at once. Yeah, maybe they're gonna get 0 views, but if I post all 3 at once, then if someone finds one of them, they'll be able to find the other 2. And it's not just a real gambit of if they're going to ever find me ever again after finding that one. Because at least they'll be able to get the story. At least they'd be able to get that. So, posted them, moved on with my day. Never guess what happened. A couple hours later, go back to check my YouTube studio and analytics and whatever. Video 1. 0 views. The beginning of the story, the beginning of the drawing, 0. You don't need that. And it's really weird because 2 and 3 took off. Nothing super abnormal. Back to the metrics the Ace video had with part 3 having the most views, but 0 on part 1 on the setup. Okay, I guess. Okay. Now, I can explain some parts of this equation. I understand that on TikTok it's easier to get more likes, and on both platforms the more likes you have, the more views you're going to get because you're going to get pushed in algorithm more, so it's going to be a little bit harder on YouTube unless you're really able to push those likes. I get that. I even get that overall Ace is way more universally loved than Sanji. Sanji has so many haters, but Ace has so many fans and stans, and everyone loves him, okay? I get that. I do not get how part 1 gets 0 views. I have no idea. Sanji sketch got views. Sanji color got views. Sanji rendering got views. Sanji line art, nothing. Beginning of the story, nothing. You don't need to know why I was trying to defend myself saying Sanji was my hear me out, because I didn't say that in part 2. I said my friend said that. You didn't have the setup of me making the joke. It's honestly a shame because part 1 is my favorite part of the story. It involves my friend hating Sanji so much that despite me already giving the context in the conversation that if a guy's hot, he can't be a hear me out, so I don't care if Doflamingo is a horrible murderous king. He's got a pretty face. So then when I jokingly said Sanji was my hear me out, and she was like, no, I get it, he's a pervert, I was slapped. I had no idea how to respond. I don't know how being a perv's worse than that, but ay. But it's not even like YouTube just hates Sanji, because every other part did just fine. So I have no idea. If you have an idea feel free to shoot it to me in the comments. Even if it's just a conspiracy theory, hey, I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt, it is conspiracy theory time. Now, honestly, I don't care as much about my metrics on TikTok because, to be honest, I don't really know how TikTok works, but I still like posting on TikTok just because, it's a good way to get very fast feedback, especially because they have like the poll option in the TikTok itself. And I just like having the comment convos. They're less common on YouTube. But I did notice there was a slight downtick in views. And that's sad because it means the people I was having comment convos with, like, they didn't see the newer videos, so I didn't get to hear their fun hear me outs. It's a shame. I would have loved. I'd have loved to hear their hear me outs because I remember someone was like, Buggy's my hear me out. And I said, nope, hot clown. That's hot clown doesn't count. And like, oh. And I destroyed their day. I have no idea what the takeaway of any of this is. Don't count your eggs before they hatch. Don't let the ever-changing numbers of social media affect you. YouTube and TikTok, the actual sites and social medias, they just hate Sanji because they don't know peak when it's lovingly gift-wrapped in a cool suit-wearing pirate cook. Or maybe it's that short-form content isn't pursuable in the long run. Or maybe it's like nothing. Like I said, I have no idea. What I do know is I am drawing Law next. Trafalgar Law, specifically Punk Hazard design because I like that hat way more than pre-skip time hat. Also, I like the coat. It's cool and moody. Pre-time skip Law looks like he belongs on MTV. Do with that what you will. If you do want to see me draw a character you love in my style, while I talk about who knows what, could be the character, could be the thing they're from, could be completely unrelated, let me know in the comments down below. I do my best to try and respond to all comments, either responding or thumbs up or whatever, but like, I'm not perfect. Hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I come out with a yip of a yap of a short or a full-blown howling rant of a video. And you know what? I am just ranting to rant. But I love ya, I love Sanji, and I hope to see you later. Bye! I tried to cosplay Sanji, except I don't know how cosplay works, and this was the most yellow Hawaiian shirt I could find. Well, there was one that was more yellow, but it was like beige yellow and not like yellow yellow. This one had more yellows overall, so I picked it. I'm sorry. But if you are curious, the other eyebrow has a little stupid curl because apparently that's how his eyebrows look in canon, but I don't like it, so I'm covering it up. Also, he covers it up, so. A couple days ago, I was talking to one of my friends about One Piece, and I had mentioned to her that before I met Crocodile on the show, I had in my head that he wasn't an attractive male character. Spoiler alert, he is. Because I had seen a lot of people, and it was just like, oh, who's your most unconventional One Piece hear me out? And people would say Crocodile, so I'm like, okay, he's gotta be like Arlong or something, like that's what he looks like, he doesn't look human. No, he's an attractive male character, and I get it. Crocodile, Doflamingo, they're monsters, how could you like them? I don't like them, I just like looking at their face. Naturally, we then go and ask each other, well, who's your hear me out? Hers was one of the fishmen, but he had a good backstory. He was mostly human, so I was like, no, I get it. And she's like, who's your hear me out? And I immediately blanked on every character that wasn't a Straw Hat. So then I jokingly say, oh, well, it's Sanji. And before I could even be like, JK, he's an attractive male character, she's like, no, I get it. He's a pervert. That's enough of a hear me out. Say no more. Now, I get it. Sanji's not everyone's cup of tea. He doesn't have to be. He can be a pervert, but he can also be sweet. Gotta take the good with the bad. However, he, at the end of the day, is an attractive human male character. So by my qualifications, no matter his personality, he is not a hear me out. So I try to tell her, no, he's not my hear me out. That was a joke. And she says, oh yeah? Who's your hear me out? Like I said, I can't really think of any characters past, the first few seasons, a lot of which were covered in the live action or later had character redesigns to make them less unattractive. So then I'm like, Garth? And she's like, nope, doesn't count. He's a hot old man. Just then, our friends appear in the chat, because of course we're doing this in a group chat, never one-on-one. They're like, why are you guys spamming us? Before I can say anything, she sends a picture of her fishman, and she sends a picture of Sanji, and she's like, these are our hear me outs, what do you think? And now I'm trying to defend myself against everyone, people who don't even know him, that Sanji is not a hear me out. Unconventional, but not a hear me out. Now you might be asking yourself, Kit, why do you like Sanji? He's a raging pervert. And let me tell you, you are not the first person to tell me that. I have told about 3 different people that I think Sanji is my favorite Straw Hat, not counting Chop, because obviously Chop is everyone's favorite. But I tell them that, I'm like, yeah, I really like Sanji. And they're like, but why? And honestly, I can't explain to you why I like him. I think it's because he has very strong dog energy opposed to cat energy. If you have dog energy, I'm already on your side, which is hilariously enough how I annoyed one of my friends because I don't remember how it came up. I just randomly said, I was like, if it was Smash or Pass tier list of One Piece, I don't think I would put Smash on Zoro. It's not that I hate him, I don't vibe with him. And she was like, that's the worst thing you've said all day. And earlier I was talking about Doflamingo and people simping over him. So I think it's mostly that he has dog energy. Also, a lot of things about him are just really silly. Like, he was obviously designed to be like a cool character. He wears suits, he kicks, he smokes. He's like all these things, but then also he's like a perv in a different way than Frankie's a perv. So then he has like all these super comedic expressions and things they play with. Like literally a plot point is that he has nosebleeds, and I think that's hilarious. So I think just a lot of things about him. Like he kicks because he's a cook, and cooks should only use their hands for cooking, and I guess literally everything else. But he has to kick during fights. I don't know. I just love him. He's funny. Anyways, love ya. See you later. Bye.